Hey, welcome to the Hive With Us podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Martinez.
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
Today I have special guests returning. If you haven't seen his other episodes, go check it out. Raymond Sjolseth. This is our episode where we call Deal Breakdown, where we cover cool, interesting stories. Right now, Raymond, what's your cool, interesting story you have for us today?
Hey, Daniel. Thanks for having me, man. So cool, interesting story. I mean, I don't know if it's interesting or frustrating. I guess it depends on, which side of the fence that you're on. But I'll tell you about a mixed-use property that I bought in Pennsylvania many years ago and turned into a complete disaster. So I had a specific amount of cash, and a friend of mine said, hey, I'm going to be moving to Philly, and, I think we're looking at an 18 to 20% return if we do some deal like this, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, it ended up being a mixed-use building, came with a liquor license and a existing restaurant inside this building. So I bought this deal and quickly had my ass handed to me, for lack of a better term. My buddy who was with me in this deal, his family was all in construction. Well, I had 2 attorneys from Chicago, 1 attorney in Philadelphia, all look at this deal, make sure everything was clean, title, all that kind of good stuff. Long story short, we bought a property that was allegedly 1 pin. It ended up being 2 pins, so 2 different actual properties lumped as one in this sale. There was a pending lawsuit from the city that everybody seemed to have missed in this sale.
Oh, nice.
And then my buddy, who was managing the deal in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, he started construction on this, and he opted not to pull permits. Well, we got shut down by the city for 2 years. I paid cash for the property. There were renters in the apartments, and I don't even know how to say it. Like, it was just a shit show, man. We ended up having to hire architects, hire structural engineers. We had to hire a specialist to divide this property into 2 pins, reassign pins, get different tax IDs. Like, it turned into a complete nightmare. And I had all the professionals, right? Attorneys, legal counsel, architects, engineers, all these people. And we ended up getting through all of that. We ended up getting the restaurant opened, and I had never intended to necessarily open the restaurant side of it. But at this point, I was so deep, I was either burn the whole thing down or open it up. So I ended up opting to open it up. It went well for a couple months, and my buddy and his brother ended up running the operation, and food was out of control, labor was out of control, and it was just hemorrhaging money. So long story short, I ended up closing it down, making that decision, fire sailing everything, and I lost a ton of money, let alone time on the whole deal.
Wow.
What's interesting about the story, aside from I'm an idiot, is, right, like, I should have stayed in my lane in a lot of ways, but I trusted somebody who I thought that they knew what they were doing, and I was sold a bill of goods that they knew what they were doing, only to find out they had no idea what they were doing. And I did not dot my I's and cross my T's. Like, I will take full accountability for everything on this, right? Like, literally, I burned a lot of zeros on this entire transaction over time. I mismanaged it. I didn't have the right people, even though I thought I did. I didn't ask the right questions. Yeah. There's a lot of takeaways from this deal that I will not do again. Like, I got into a property out of state. I got into a situation where I felt strapped and obligated to make forced decisions on what I needed to do.
Yeah.
A, for the people involved, but also B, for the deal itself, knowing at some point I'm going to have to get rid of it and I wouldn't be able to get rid of it in the condition that I bought it in. Yeah. So many things, man. Like, I don't even know where you want to start if you want to get into anything with that. But
I have a few questions. So I've come across properties with 2 PIN numbers, and I've seen like crazy stories where a dude bought a tax sale auction, and it was like he thought it was a house, ended up being a little strip of land that was 10 inches wide in between of a duplex.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a whole story. I've seen it. I don't even know what state it was in, and he bought a tax sale thinking he was going to get a house for a few $100s, but it was literally like
You got an easement.
He got a full strip of land that you can barely walk on. So, how big was that secondary lot?
So the total property, I don't remember the lot size, but the square footage of the entire property was like 2,200 square feet. Like its footprint.
It's small enough to overlook that secondary property.
Yeah, it was on a corner on like a 5 street intersection. It was super funky to begin with. And the guy who was running the restaurant, it turns out the way he had the restaurant set up is that it looked like it was one restaurant, but it wasn't. He had a catering company that was servicing a cafe. So literally the catering company was in one address, the cafe was assigned to another address, and he was having his catering company serve the cafe at the other address via like a cart delivery through the back door. Like it was, it was crazy. The whole thing was a shit show.
This is probably the craziest story I've ever heard. I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
oh man, like the details are insane, like of this whole thing. And again, I take full accountability. Like I did not know what I didn't know. I didn't know what the people that I hired didn't know. And the fact that literally 3 real estate attorneys, 1 local, 2 out of state, that helped me put this whole thing together, missed so much, man. Like so many red flags that should have been obvious were just missed. So I don't know if they were hidden or the right questions weren't asked. Like, I mean, dude, this was almost 10 years ago at this point, but
it's funny now.
It was a disaster. Well, it was a learning lesson, right? Like, okay, won't do that again.
How long did you hold that property for before you had to like fire sale it?
The total deal from date of purchase to date of sale was 6 years.
And this is the crazy part about something like this is like sometimes if you're going to take a loss, you just got to cut that loss early.
Yeah, and the truth is, I should have. However,
some stuff had to be solved before you can even cut that loss.
There were so many moving parts that I had to solve, right? Because in Philly specifically, like if you have a building and then you're issued a liquor license, that liquor license is attached to an address.
Yep.
Right. So again, just a lot of moving parts that I had to clear out. And then the way the deal was structured, and oh man, it was a disaster.
That is one of the craziest deals I've ever heard in my life. I'm not going to ask him how much money he lost, but it's probably a lot of zeros. And
yeah, I don't have enough tissues, bro, on my desk to answer that question.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It was an expensive lesson. 100%.
That is, real estate is not all rainbows and unicorns. You're gonna have to eat some dirt sometimes, and it's not gonna be fun. And just be prepared. A real estate attorney cannot protect you from stuff that is hidden under the floorboards.
Yep.
Because once you peel them back,
it's yours.
You'll see.
Yeah.
As much as I call real estate attorneys, I talked to like 3 in one day the other day, and I'm just like, this is nice to have, but I'm sure something is still going to happen. Now I know something's still going. When everything you think is going right, there's always something you can throw it wrong.
Yep. Sure.
Oh man, this has been a crazy episode. I hope you all learned something. And this is, as much as a deal can look good, the pro forma sometimes is not pro forma.
No, ask questions. And if it's not in your lane, find somebody whose lane it's in.
That's a good tip right there. I think we'll leave it with that. Where can people find you online?
RaymondSjolseth.com, RaymondSjolseth. Thank you guys for letting me share.
That is a crazy story. Please stay tuned. I like doing these. These are fun. Not from my perspective, but I mean, from my perspective, they're fun, but not from his. That is crazy.
Hey, if I can
Crazy
help somebody
story.
learn, yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And I'm really glad you mentioned this story because a lot of people are afraid to talk about their L's, and L's is what people learn from. And I hope if you are looking to buy something in major city with a liquor license, like hopefully think about this. You're like, man, there's gonna be more things that come. This is why, like me personally, I hate staying away from the city because the city, they always have more add-ons, stuff you don't even think about that you've never dealt before. You're gonna deal with in the city. This is why I don't deal with in the city. And Raymond sent me some deals that were in the city, and I'm like, I don't like the city. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like the city, because they just complicate things. And I understand why they do it, because they have to deal with a lot of issues internally. So they just add on regulation and curveball, and it's just a giant mountain that you have to climb whenever you're dealing with stuff like that. And I get it, but I don't do stuff in the city. And this is a good reason why.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in my lane. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Go like, share with a friend, go subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this one. I did. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, we hope you're enjoying this content. If you have leads that you need to dispo anywhere in the country, please visit hivebc.io, like hivebuyersclub.io, and we'll help you move those deals that you need to get into the marketplace.